You check your banking app for the third time today. Same number, £4.12. Payday is 6 days away. You tell yourself it's not really about the money. It's about what the money lets you avoid. The phone call you're dreading, the low balance text, the feeling of being one bad week from everything falling apart. This is where almost everyone starts. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what changes and what doesn't as that number grows, from £0 to £10 million. Some of it will surprise you. Most of it will not be what you expect.
At £0, every purchase is a decision against survival. A coffee isn't a coffee, it's 3 days closer to the overdraft fee. The bank doesn't see a person here, it sees risk. You get the worst interest rates, the highest fees, and the product's built specifically to be expensive for people who can't shop around. Payday loans, subprime credit, buy now, pay later that quietly becomes pay later with interest. Nobody calls you with an investment opportunity at £0. Nobody offers you a better deal. The system is not designed to notice you, and when it does, it's usually charging you for the privilege. This tier isn't about bad decisions. It's about having zero room for a single wrong one.
You finally have an emergency fund. 3 months of expenses sitting there, untouched. Nobody around you notices. Same car, same job, same flat. From the outside, nothing has changed at all. But internally, everything has. You can say no to a bad shift. You can survive a broken boiler without panic. You can sit through a bad week at work without your body going into fight or flight. This is the tier most people underestimate. It's not exciting, there's no headline number, but the jump from £0 to £10,000 buys you more peace of mind than almost any other tier on this entire ladder.
You're still, by every visible measure, a normal person. Same postcode, same supermarket. The bank still treats you like everyone else. No private number, no relationship manager, no special calls. But you've quietly bought yourself options. A deposit is within reach. A career change stops feeling reckless. You start running numbers instead of just hoping. This is the tier where the gap opens up between how rich you look and how much room you actually have to maneuver. And almost nobody around you can tell the difference.
On paper, you're doing well. In reality, most of this is locked inside a house, a figure that looks impressive on a net worth spreadsheet and means almost nothing in your current account. This is the most dangerous tier of the entire ladder. Not because you have too little, because you have just enough to convince yourself you can afford a lifestyle you can't. The bigger mortgage, the newer car on finance, the holidays that match the number on paper, not the number in the bank. People look at you and assume freedom. You know it's mostly equity, sitting still, while the actual bill for that freedom keeps quietly growing.
Here's the part nobody tells you. Around £870,000 is roughly what it takes to sit in the top 10% of wealth in this country. And yet, picture that person. It's not a yacht owner. It's usually someone in their 50s or 60s, mortgage paid off, decent pension, modest car. Comfortable, not flashy. Definitely not who you imagined when you pictured the top 10%. This is the tier where you realize the wealth ladder in this country is quieter, slower, and far less glamorous than it looks online. Most of the top 10% built this through decades, not luck. The word everyone fantasizes about, the milestone with its own mythology. Here's the twist. In this country, hitting $1 million doesn't make you rare. It usually just means you own a house in London or the Southeast, plus a solid pension. Most of it is illiquid, tied up, not spendable. The bank still doesn't roll out a red carpet. There's no private banking call waiting for you. The anxiety doesn't disappear here. It just changes shape. It used to be, can I pay rent? Now it's, am I saving enough, fast enough, for a retirement that feels further away than the number suggests? You hit the milestone everyone talks about, and you still go to work on Monday. This is the number that actually puts you in the top 1% of this country by wealth. Not a million, not close to a million, roughly 3.5 times that. This is where things genuinely start to shift. A wealth manager reaches out without you asking. You start hearing about investment opportunities that were never advertised publicly. Funds with minimums that quietly filter out almost everyone else. Some friendships change here too. Not always for dramatic reasons. Just a quiet awkwardness around who pays for dinner, who asks for advice, who starts treating you slightly differently without ever saying why.
At this level, money stops being the constraint on almost any decision in your life. Where you live, how you work, who you spend time with, all of it becomes a choice rather than a limitation. But new problems show up that no one warns you about. Trust gets complicated. You start wondering who wants your time and who wants your wallet. Decisions multiply. Trusts, tax structuring, family dynamics. What happens to all of this when you're gone? Some people at this level describe something unexpected, a kind of quiet isolation. The chase doesn't end at a number. It ends when you decide it's enough. And most people who reach this tier never actually stop to define what enough meant in the first place.
Here's the part that should change how you think about all of this. The biggest jump in quality of life on this entire ladder doesn't happen between £1 million and £10 million. It happens between £0 and roughly £10,000 to £50,000. The leap from financial panic to financial calm. After that point, every extra zero buys you more options, more complexity, and more decisions to manage. But it buys you diminishing amounts of actual, measurable happiness. The goal was never a specific number with a lot of zeros on the end of it. The goal is reaching your own version of enough, defined by your expenses, your freedom, and what you actually value, not by whatever tier looks impressive on someone else's screen.
So, which tier surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. This is Nexo Finance. Subscribe if you want more of this. I'll see you in the next one.